What's up, everybody? We're back for another episode of the Right and Loafer podcast. Woo-hoo! It'll be good. My name is, what is my name? Chris Knievel? Chris Conradical?
Super Conradical.
I'm missing my good buddy Suit Steve up here, but we got the Fireball Bill.
Yeah.
We got Nicole and the Chicken Mike.
The chicken.
Man, this is going to be awesome. We got a lot of really cool stuff. We're talking chickens. We're talking about Texas history.
Cox.
Oh, and lots of other things.
Yes, what he said.
See y'all in a little bit. All right, guys, we're back here at the Right and Loafer podcast. This is episode 2000. Or no,
pretty close, 2001.
I'm wearing an Evil Knievel suit because I'm with my good buddies over here. We're having a good old time.
Right.
We're always having adventures and all that.
Just a few.
Yeah, just a few. So we got Chicken Mike and Nicole.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about some, your history in the garden hen and, chickens in Texas and all that kind of stuff. So
And Nicole wearing her sitting pants.
Exactly.
Sitting pants.
That's correct.
Exactly.
Yes.
Does that sitting
Does that
pants?
say stitting or strutting pants?
Strutting
from
pants.
a
My
lady
bad,
wrangler.
strutting pants. All right.
Yes.
You got to have those on.
She's
Yes.
always strutting,
I got my sitting pants on.
right?
So I named you Chicken Mike. So we met a long time ago, right? I've always been impressed with you, right? We're good friends. Always the entrepreneur, making stuff and taking care of business.
I have to give you complete credit for the nickname. I mean, if you now Google it, it almost pops up quicker
Yes,
than our
it's very famous.
than our
does.
business name.
Yes.
So I got to tell people sometimes I'm like, Google the Garden Hen or Google Chicken Mike. You know, everything's going to pop up. We got a good reputation, but it's been a long journey. But it takes we were at a place the other day, another local business, and he says local businesses helping local businesses.
Yeah.
You know, so thinking about staying local, creating an opportunity, people that make a craft and have a handcraft, and if it's a coop or a boot, it doesn't matter. They can cross-pollinate somehow, somewhere.
No, if you see what they actually do online, if you go to gardenhen.com or just Google Garden Hen,
Yes.
you can see all the details that they can make a coop that is actually like your custom house and all this kind
When
of
you
stuff.
drive through River Oaks,
So-
you see these big mansions with columns and stuff, and you look in the backyard, they've got actually a chicken coop that matches their home.
And it's weird. I mean, you
It's
think
incredible.
chickens, I mean, you think about that as kind of a country thing, but it is like a sustainable deal. And we're
Sure
going to
is.
get into that. But, chickens in Texas, right? Because we're always going to have our boot angle, our history angle as well on things. But, I'm thinking, as I'm reading these books about the Alamo and the runaway scrape, they're abandoning their farmsteads and there's chickens everywhere, So the colonists had come and brought chickens, I guess, in the 30s, 20s at that time period. I was kind of thinking, like, what are the Indians thinking about these people like holding birds? They're like, what are they doing?
They totally thought they were probably just a little bit cuckoo. I mean, honestly, I'm sure the way that people think that we raise chickens now in our backyard, there's still some folks out there that are the older generation that they kind of laugh at me they were grown up on a farm and they don't understand the concept of having 5, 6, 7 chickens in the backyard with a chicken
Not
coop
at all.
for a production of eggs and for actually camaraderie as a pet. So a lot of our clients, we've had folks that have children with learning disabilities, autism, and they actually have these as pets that could be therapeutic at times for certain situations.
Yeah. No. What I thought was really cool is that when we first met, you're talking about the educational programs you guys do in schools, and you're going through the different lifestyle. You even have a song about it, I think. 21 days, 21 light or something. No,
What
The
can
evolution of
happen
that
in
is
21
incredible.
days?
what
Watching
can
that
happen
unfold.
in 21 days? But it's cool because now they understand.
Yes.
We kind of talk about that with our boots and stuff. Like, people don't understand how a boot is made. They don't understand like how you get the meat or the egg, from to your table. You got to educate people. They just go to HEB or they go into a
Yes.
boot shop and grab boots and it's done. So it's that.
There's a lot of work and a lot of hours behind that.
Yeah.
She'll tell you.
A lot of work and
I
a lot
bet
of
I
hours
bet I know
behind
this
it.
answer, but what's the biggest misconception about our business, about chickens in the backyard? What do you need for an egg?
We need a lot of hours, number one.
Yeah.
A lot of
But what
feed, a
don't
lot
you
of
need?
time. But you don't need a rooster.
Don't need
That's
a rooster.
huge misconception.
See?
Now, if you want babies,
Right.
of course you need a rooster.
Chicken, hen, or rooster.
But if
yeah.
you want just eggs, all you need is a hen.
So us
That's
guys
it.
are kind of useless in the backyard chicken game.
Yeah.
So all of our clients, they just want hens, right? So they just want eggs produced, and you're going to get in trouble because in the city you don't really need the rooster making the noise at 3 a.m. going to crow.
No.
Your neighbors
Absolutely.
are going to hate you.
Unless you already don't like your neighbor.
That you could go.
If you want to
drop
make
one
them
in the
miserable,
backyard.
you could do that. I mean, honestly.
Chicken wars.
Right?
There was a time, right? So you had these farms. You had family farms. Then you had commercial farms.
Yes.
Right. So when did that happen? I mean, because again, you talk about the density of the population. You can't have the farms. You can't have the chickens at home so much until we're talking about this urbanization of chicken coops and stuff like that. But then they had big mass-produced chicken farms, and then it's going to the
Well, the same thing is how did you realize, or when did you realize the need for urban farming? That kind of
So
thing?
this is 2 parts. So I'm going to let her tell you how we realized the need ourselves, and then I'll talk to y'all about how the landscape of the city has changed and evolved over the last 80 years from big farms to residential lots and how that's affected our chickens. But she can tell you how we got started in the business.
Yeah.
Well, it was now
2000.
quite a while ago, but we got started based on something I was kind of infatuated with from childhood. I used to raise chickens as a kid and got older, it kind of went on the wayside. But then when I met Michael and we got married, I was like,
Chicken Mike, by the way.
well, Chicken Mike. But when Chicken Mike and I got married, gotta be
She's called me so much
Correct.
worse, just so y'all know.
yes.
Over 20 years of
But
marriage.
no, when we got married, I kind of went to him one day and I was like, I kind of want to get back to my roots and I want to get backyard chickens. And he's kind of looking at me like,
Negative ghostwriter that pattern.
no, I think I'm good on that. And I'm like, well, sorry, you don't have a choice. So I literally went and got chickens, built my own backyard chicken coop.
Where do you get
and
chickens from?
You can get them actually from all over Houston.
Okay.
Melinda at Seabreeze Hens. You can go to Wabash.
Tractor Supply,
You can
right?
go to
Tractor
Tractor Supply.
Quality
Okay.
feed. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's grown in such popularity, chicken keeping, that now you can get them pretty much anywhere.
So she defied all odds by building her own coop at first. And,
It was hot pink.
And literally,
Yeah.
these chickens thrived in our backyard enough to where I kind of started understanding it. But to tell you the truth, I was terrified to even touch one.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this guy scared?
Well,
Chicken
it's weird.
Mike
I mean,
being
it's
scared
weird,
of chickens.
you know?
Yeah.
Scratching Mike. Rapping Mike.
Yeah, Ice Mike. Yeah,
Ice
maybe at the
Mike.
radio,
Mike.
but
Doing the slam and
I
7
mean, nobody-
and
I was
7.
yeah, right.
I remember when you handed me pine cone for the first time. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I was like, pine cone's beautiful, but I didn't know if it's
Right.
She
like
looks
pecking
kind
on
of
me.
like
Yeah.
a little Muppet when you look at
the
her.
beginning of the end. We didn't know. It's all
Exactly.
feathers.
Well, you
if you
can't
see
tell her
pine
head
cone,
from her
we'll have some
tail.
videos of pine cone on the episode.
Absolutely.
It's
You
a
can
very
see-
big chicken.
Well,
What-
we'll
what-
also
is
link
it
her
silky,
Instagram.
yeah?
Yeah, we'll link her Instagram. She's
Yeah.
got over 2,000 followers.
She
No,
does.
right.
She
Absolutely.
does.
Very cool.
But that being said, so obviously she defies our backyard odds. We are in a tiny backyard community, and she was working at a private school, and the private school would do a little life cycle hatching program, and they kept giving Nicole the babies, and so Nicole kept bringing the babies home, and she'd weed out the roosters and keep the girls, and we'd had a ton of eggs, ton of babies that grew up to be full-size chickens now. I'm like, babe, we can't have 20 chickens in a backyard
I think
gated
it was
community.
closer to 30.
It probably
but
was.
How long
Wow.
ago was this?
This
That's
was,
in 2010.
Okay.
yes,
Wow.
2010.
And
Yeah.
so basically, we went and sat on the side of the road at, if y'all know are familiar with Traders Village.
Sure.
Yeah.
So across the street, so we were just bleeding off their traffic. We set up in a parking lot across the street with a hand-painted sign, and within 6 hours, we sold everything we
It
bought.
was well worth it.
Wow.
Well
And
worth it.
It was cool, but you can't monetize 6-month-old chickens, those eggs,
No,
and
because
make a business.
because of the time period that it takes for an egg to hatch and then turn into an adult chicken and turn around and lay eggs
21 days.
itself.
well, 6
21
months.
days, but 6
for it to
months.
grow before
Yeah,
an egg.
6 months from
Ah.
yeah.
So
Okay.
there's the
So,
monetization.
there
that they're
you
gonna
go.
create a
They
business.
They won't lay eggs till over 5 to 6 months. So
Okay.
to monetize that, you need hundreds and hundreds
And
of
so
chickens.
Got it.
we're not in the chicken selling business, never have been. So we're really a backyard chicken business. So we learned how to teach people how to cultivate an egg in their backyard. And then we go into schools and we do the life cycle hatching program with our own curriculum now and songs and all kinds of cool stuff in
Yep.
English and in Spanish.
Yes.
And then we have a service business that Nicole and I are responsible for 17 clients each week that we clean the coop, maintain the coop. All they have to do is really collect eggs. There's insurance involved.
Healthcare.
Healthcare.
Yes.
There's a lot that goes on with our service business, but That's all spawned because she brought these silly things home one day, and I
All these
literally,
things, right?
I just didn't understand it at first,
Yeah.
but really the lifestyle made sense after some time. And year to date, we have over, well, I'm gonna say by the end of the summer we'll have over 400 chicken coops in greater surrounding
so
areas
cool.
in Houston.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've reached over 20,000 students, and
Yeah.
we have the 17 clients.
Unbelievable.
I mean, honestly, when I met you, I didn't realize that people were raising chickens in their backyard. For me, that was like that's kind of a weird
Sure.
thing. But now, we've kind of normalized it. I mean, for me, of course you do that. I mean, what's the benefit of having that? I mean, honestly, like 6 months ago we had this egg shortage and all that
Well,
kind of stuff. What's
You're gonna have a lot of the media that's gonna come out each
A
year.
lot of propaganda.
And it
Yes.
the you hear big pharmaceutical, right? But I'm going to talk big chicken for a second. And
Sure.
We're talking like the large corporations. They don't like folks like Nicole and I teaching people how to cultivate chickens on a smaller scale, because the next step is that people will have to eventually one day, if the government doesn't provide a healthy enough product for us, harvest that meat themselves too, like Chris was talking about earlier with me off camera. But right now our clients are just really focused on pets, eggs, and having a lifestyle right now.
Well, and the
that they're-
companionship,
Sure.
because
They're-
it's like a cat or a
It's a-
dog.
it's a
It's,
learning-
no
it's a
different.
learning
Yeah.
process.
they're getting
with their
back to their
kids and
roots with
things
their
too, sure.
with their gardens.
Yeah.
So,
Just to
like the
reiterate that
composting.
again, because I think we had talked about it. I honestly did not understand if you're raising chickens to make like a rotisserie chicken in your deal. Oh, come here, Billy, and we're gonna have dinner tonight. You're just, but this whole thing is eggs is the main thing that people have, right? That
Yes.
they're
Now you
trying
can
to-
have meat birds. A lot of people
Sure.
do it. You have dual purpose birds that are for meat and for eggs.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, again, it goes back to the companionship. Just like a cat or a dog, you have your chickens.
Couldn't imagine
course,
eating my dog.
of course.
I'd be
No,
weird.
exactly. Well, and I always
We're
say
not
once you
China.
give something
Yeah.
a name,
Korea.
you're not really prone to
Couldn't
wanting
eat
to
my dog, I could eat his.
You're never coming over. Ever.
And to kind of dial back to your second question, or first question prefaced by Bill's question, but the way the city has adapted by having chickens, right? So in the 40s, we had large farms, like the Galleria was farmland. I mean, literally, people lived
You think
downtown.
FM,
Sure.
farm to market.
farm
Yes.
to market,
Yes.
1093 or 1083, whatever it is. That was
Yeah.
Westheimer, and basically, you had builders, developers like John Staub in the 20s come in and start developing River Oaks. You had other developers come in and start moving their way outward. And in River Oaks, you had the big 10,000 square foot lots, 8,500 square foot lots. But when you started moving outward past where we have like the Loop right now, those are 6,500 square foot, 4,500 square foot lots that resemble now Tanglewood, which some of those lots are bigger, I know, but like
All right.
the traditional cookie cutter lots back in, like that we see today on development, that's what they started doing back then. And they kept the same bylaws at having 100 feet from your neighbor, from their dwelling, from their home. So your coop had to be 100 feet from their dwelling.
because you had that back then.
But
you
you
don't
could
have
have
that now.
30 chickens.
Everybody's on top
Sure.
of one another.
Yeah. I
and
can
30
see that.
chickens doesn't make sense for a backyard. So the
No.
city never adapted it
It started when and then
really in the 40s.
40s, okay.
Yeah.
1930s to 1940s.
So, but you
the
guys
bylaws
had to go
were
in
written.
front of Congress and
We've
gone in
Texas
front of
and,
everybody,
senators
you
and
name
stuff.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Nicole and I spoke in front of a Senate committee at the Capitol, and the only folks that opposed us, and I checked in my name as Chicken Mike, by the way, and they repeated it out loud, so that's actually verified.
If
But
you're
that,
wearing this kind of suit, you would have,
yeah, you'd be
It would have been
super
way more
con-radical.
powerful. Way more.
But we did, and the only guy that opposed us, this guy got up and he represented what I'd call big chicken. He came down, starched down, did not have a pair of Republic boots on, so
Definitely did not.
That was a minus for him. So he
Sorry.
was one of the only guys
Fuck
that
that
opposed
guy.
it. Yeah, fuck that dude.
Yes.
I did say that. Sorry.
Bill encouraged me to say it too. But that being said, that was the only group that opposed us, is what I'd say what represented Big Chicken, and there was no explanation. They just put their name on the list. So
They
that's
stood
that's,
there till they got the answer they wanted and
That's
left.
all the
Wow.
senators
In other words,
look
yeah.
for, because they just look at the name that opposes it. He didn't have to get up there and really even tell them. He just comes up
No.
and says, "We oppose this," and then they're like, "Who's that dude that opposed it?" Oh wow. Oh, they write what size check to us each year? Okay.
Exactly.
So Carol Alvarado actually
Wow.
looked at me in the face at that committee meeting and goes, "I don't believe my city wants chickens." And I said, "Ma'am, with all due respect, I think the city has a different tone." And we had, shoot, at that time, almost 200 coops on the floor, in backyards. And I was like, I just think the city has a different tone, and watch me roll.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, so we reach an international audience, right? So we're all over the world, and we're really a big hit in Tokyo and also Belgium. Is there other places?
That's terrible.
I know.
I can keep a straight face.
But it's good too.
It's good. It's good. I mean, other places in the world, do they have chickens in other places in the world?
Maybe.
They are definitely all over the world. Chickens outnumber the human population 100 to 1. I mean, even more than that.
What is the most expensive chicken in the market right now?
Well,
Backyard chicken.
In my opinion, it's the AM Samani.
Where does that come from?
AM Samani.
Those come from Indonesia,
There you go.
and they run $2,500 a pair,
Wow.
male
if you
and female
get
pair.
full blood, you know.
So the eggs are really good. So I'm thinking we had Ryan
If
Cade
this
up
eggs
here.
or this
I'm
meat?
thinking Wagyu beef.
No.
So
Right?
they're
Different deal.
completely exotic. The chicken is completely black from
Everything.
inside to out. The only thing that it does anything different color-wise from itself is it lays an all-white egg.
Oh wow.
And so they are looked
Its
at
heart is
in
black. Its innards are black.
everything is
skin
black on this
black.
bird, and they're stunning. They're absolutely stunning.
Right.
They're so black, they're iridescent green and blue and purple. And in a lot of other countries, they look at these birds as like magical because they think that because they're the way they are, they have magical properties. Some
Fair enough.
countries even make potions
We
out
had
of these birds.
a
Oceans.
gentleman
It's really
from
interesting.
Galveston that would actually, we caught a root like a brood of some AM Samanis from some breeder, and we took a couple, and then we actually bred a few on a piece of property, and then this guy would actually take a few birds from us every so months, and he would make what he told us was potions.
Tinctures,
Unbelievable.
potions.
Wow.
He believed
That's
that
weird.
they had
Yeah.
healing properties.
That's
so,
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think the only thing that has healing properties for me is cannabis.
Lone Star beer. there was a point in time where you guys had a curriculum within the school district.
Sure.
Is that still
We
going on?
still
or-
do that.
20,000
Yes.
plus
Okay,
students,
okay.
yeah. And
Yes.
Nicole and I are so blessed to be able to do this. What we do is we'll bring the incubator into the classroom and do everything for the teacher. We give her the curriculum in English and Spanish, like I was saying earlier, but the kids get to see so much more than just babies. What they do is they develop empathy. So they actually have something that hatches out that they're responsible for in the classroom that the teacher can bounce empathy off of. We have so many things right now that are violent in our children's culture, from video games to
Yes.
our
Right.
own society. So when you care for an animal and that animal produces something for you in return, you develop empathy for that animal, and you can actually
Empathy,
develop
compassion,
empathy for other folks.
love.
Right. No, it's just huge.
A sense of
opportunity.
responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at kids and believe it or not, kids actually crave to want to do good and be responsible, and they want to be, applauded and told, hey, good job. It really offers a sense of that. And we have kids coming up to us years later, kids graduating high school, being like,
At the Rockets game, wanted to see my wrist
Yes.
tattoo coming up to me. They're like, I'm like, how old are you? He's like, I'm a senior. I'm like,
I've heard
wow.
about
So
it.
we did your program like when you were in third grade. So yeah,
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
yeah. We've been in business over 10 years. Nicole and I have with our hatching program
gone
and
by
the
so
coops.
fast.
I
it
know.
really has.
It has.
I mean,
So-
it started from this little thing to now being something incredibly
I'm so
awesome.
proud of that.
All because
Yeah.
so cool.
literally.
We still
I
need
can't
those
take
little
credit.
model things that we were talking about before. I forgot
Sure.
what you call them, but so your name is Chicken Mike,
Yeah.
and I said
Miss
"You gotta
Nicole."
have
Miss
Miss
Nicole.
And you said- if you're in the boot shop, everybody's got a name. Fireball,
Everybody's got a
Bill,
nickname, yeah.
We got there's Chop over there, there's Boo Boo, and we got some good stuff, Coach, and blah blah blah, Kodak. But I said. You can't be Rat Snake Nicole because
No.
that sounds
Yeah.
terrible.
It does.
But is there
So-
like a snake episode that
Tell
that
us
we,
about
we
the
heard
snake
about
thing.
here or
Oh,
something?
my
Internationally famous.
I'll set it up and I'll let her
Come
finish.
on.
I'll
Come
set
on.
the layup and I'll let her finish it off. So, with our service business, not to get into anything because it's not a sad thing. Nicole isn't driving much right now because she's diagnosed with a little health issue, and our daughter, who's 19 and very capable of driving mom around the coops,
And a
is-
big help at
yes,
that.
and has been a
Yeah.
huge help.
Yeah.
She's been helping out with one of our longer customers that lives out in Burton, which is about an hour from our house. And Nicole cleans two really, really large coops, and they're in the country. And she got a surprise one day.
Well, I get a lot of surprises, believe it or not. You're out in the country or even in a, Houston
feed and
backyard.
stuff. Yeah.
You've got everything from raccoons, possums, hawks, owls, but snakes have been a really big one for me lately, and not so much right now because it's too hot in summer. It's
Sure.
more like early part of the year, spring predominantly. So I'm going in cleaning out a coop like I normally do, and to my surprise, I just reached right in and I grabbed one, and I was like, "Oh, well, you're a rat snake. I can handle you." And sure enough, was carrying the snake out of the coop, and I've had to do this numerous times at the same
If
place.
that ain't country.
I mean, this snake literally. So it's not like a 19-year-old girl wants to help her mom with the snake.
No,
she
she
literally
wants to film
goes
her
to filming
mom
it,
doing
right?
all of it.
So the first clip of the film, actually, the snake lays an egg in the
It was
coop.
laying eggs in the coop,
Oh,
which
it's
is
weird.
I don't know if it wanted to be
Wow.
a
Kinda
chicken
like alien style,
or,
like,
but
totally.
they're also known as chicken snakes. So rat snakes, chicken snakes.
You got
So
food right there, ready and willing.
it's
right
got plenty of
there.
eggs to nosh on.
She
Yeah.
basically is carrying it out the coop, and you hear our daughter in the background dropping f-bombs. And
Yes.
Because is that like giving birth at McDonald's?
I'm like, it almost is like somebody's dying, you know.
I was
and
like, are you going to be all right over there?
and she's the one doing all the work. And Nicole, it actually got out of her grips in her hands with the snake lead and the stick, and it lodged itself
In my
in our-
daughter's engine.
Yeah, in the Mini
Was
Cooper
like, nope,
engine.
Wow.
I'm going to do what you don't want me to do and go in the engine. And I don't know about you two, but if you
Yeah.
smell any form of a burning animal in an engine, because everybody's like, oh, just turn, and I'm like,
Do you know how much that would have
Oh.
cost?
that's
Oh,
damage
yeah.
number
BMW,
one, and the
bueno.
Mini
smell
Cooper,
won't go
that's
away for
all
months.
Expensive
No.
German
The
parts.
snake just
Yeah.
So-
blasts out of your.
Yeah.
I'm
air
just like,
conditioner.
no, we gotta
I
get
did
it
that
out.
with a cat one time. That's another story.
Yeah,
Oh, Lord.
Another
no,
story.
it's
But yeah.
horrible.
I did something
pussy.
similar.
I heard it.
pussy.
I get revving the engine. No, never mind. Keep going.
Sorry.
But no,
True
if you know,
story.
you know it.
I was going to go
Awesome.
somewhere with that, but you
So
don't want me
I had to
there.
go, of course, pop the hood, get the snake out of the car, and the snake
Uh-huh.
was fighting me,
Yeah.
like literally holding on for dear life.
I
But
want to go home with you.
yes, but sure enough, finally got it out of there.
I mean,
Long story short,
This
it-
video.
No, we're gonna put that video inside of the notes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Go inside those notes and check that out. It is awesome.
Yeah.
It's cooler in Spanish because like, oh, Dios mío, I can't speak Spanish very well,
I
but
mean,
I can
it went
understand.
I think you
It went
nailed that
international.
though.
Yeah, he got that
Dios mío. Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause it's all, I mean, it's international, right? It's
Yes,
pretty good.
Yeah.
Just like
yes.
our viewers in Tokyo that are watching right now, right? Oh, I can't do Japanese.
Yeah, what he said.
I can't do Japanese.
Well, you're about to get canceled, Conrad.
Hey,
Yes.
I have a lot of friends in Tokyo, and Japanese friends are they're good friends of mine.
Yeah.
Chris-san, they call me Chris-san.
You have to do the head
Chris-san,
like that.
Chris-san.
Chris on, Chris off.
So we do at the end of our episodes, we talk about boots.
Yes.
What are y'all's favorite kind of boots? What's your hide? What do you guys think? So I guess there's two different probably answers to that. It's probably work boots and fancy boots. Yeah.
I do
Do you,
both.
do you work in boots? When you
I
go out
do.
there?
Well,
Yeah.
when I'm yes
I
and
work
no.
in flip flops and Vans.
Oh, your Vans are nasty.
But
by
as
the
a
way.
Yeah, I
rule,
know
when you go
that.
out into certain properties, you should always protect your feet. So tennis shoe, it depends on also
Yep.
the climate because sometimes wearing boots is just it's excruciatingly
Sure.
hot. So I'm not going to lie
Yeah.
from that
No, no,
standpoint.
no.
No, we
sure,
totally
for
get
sure.
it.
But as a rule, when I wear boots, I like my boots really worn in. I like them to feel like I'm,
Just a
slipped
slipper.
on a
Yeah,
comfortable thing. So I wear my boots to the ground when I do wear my boots.
that's cool.
But every now and again, a nice pair of dress boots, those are great too because
Get
they
you
make
some
everything
boots.
look nice. So
Yeah, we're in Texas. Man, we designed these ones. What
This
like
was my first pair.
Chicken Mike Boots by
years ago?
Republic Boot Company.
yes,
Yeah, this was
Yes.
one of the first
Yes.
ones. So it's
3H.
funny because they are snake. We didn't even have the rat snake
This was like
situation.
4 years ago, maybe
3H.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
His 3 daughters with the H name.
And the
with
chicken
the
foot.
Chicken foot. Ah, it's so cool.
Five.
up
Shout
the
out
chicken
to your
foot.
daughters. What's their
Yes,
names?
Haley, Harper, and Harley.
There you go.
Yes.
3 H's.
Yes.
Yeah, the
3H.
Very cool pair of boots, man.
I
It's,
love those boots.
They're definitely a showstopper whenever I pull
They
my
are.
pant leg up or I cross my legs somewhere,
Yeah, you got to be careful with snake though, because it might cut on you. See, they're kind of, your fancy ones.
Remember, I
Again.
got
Yep.
the snake lady with me.
That's exactly
Snake lady.
I'm going to be
Okay,
all
you gotta
right.
be careful.
I'm going to be all right.
Cool guys, we've really enjoyed you guys. I mean, how do we find you guys? What's
Yeah.
going on? What's going on next? Tell me.
Real quickly, what's
Yeah.
going on next is we're creating products right now. So hopefully Nicole and I are going to take the next step in our journey, and we have created an awesome team because it takes more than just Nicole and I, and it takes a team. So we're creating a team and a product line called Sweet Lucy.
Awesome.
And Sweet Lucy, you can find it on our website. There will be a link on our website on the Garden Hen. And
Google Garden Hen, yeah.
Yeah, so if you
Yes.
Google Garden Hen, it's actually the-garden-hen.com. But if you Google Garden Hen, it all pops up at
Everything
the top.
pops up.
So you have chicken feed and that
So
kind
it's
of
going to
stuff
be a
that you-
food. So it's
Okay.
going to be a food line.
Okay.
We're going to also create. This is really rad. Hopefully, our own line of bedding. So just preliminary. We haven't nailed anything down.
Test and measures.
Test
right
and
now.
measurement right now. So it's a bedding that goes into coops. That even might spawn the very first ever my pillow for chickens. So it's really going to be something cool. So a nesting pad that's going to go in the nesting box. And there's a proprietary ingredient that we're going to actually put in this little pad that is like the stuffing for the pillow.
Wow.
And it's going to actually
not
be
cannabis.
No, it's not cannabis.
No,
Okay.
but everything's
You know
going to
me
be
too well.
all
Yeah.
natural
You know
and
me too well.
recycled.
It's all it's everything is legal. And it's actually
Preface here.
It's
Where's
gonna-
our lawyer?
it's going to create aromatics for the coop. So it's going to actually change the way people are thinking about their coops because we can take natural resources or
A lot of
byproducts
recycled products.
Amazing.
Yes.
and then create
That's cool.
something awesome with it.
Very
love it.
green. I mean,
Yes,
you can take the stuff and throw it
green.
into a landfill or utilize it. For
Put it in your garden. Do whatever you
sure.
want with it. But the
gotta
point
do
is,
that.
Outstanding.
And a little
totally
hint,
is awesome.
a little hint. It's it might have a little caffeine in it to tell you
Okay.
the truth, and that's actually natural, which will be all right.
caffeine go into the egg, and then
So,
you actually have one thing.
We're going to actually study and we're going to actually see if there is caffeine that is, because I don't think they're going to be able to ingest enough of it from the bedding to produce anything in the egg. But if it's ingested, it's not harmful for them. And this is something that can go to your compost quicker than anything in the market right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't need your
Yes.
cup of coffee. You just get that egg
Hey,
sandwich.
Right?
Did you say cup of coffee?
Huh?
Did you say cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee?
I don't know. That might be the hint, guys.
Right on.
Well, thank you guys. Here, toast, cheers, and all that.
Cheers.
We're gonna find a name
Cheers.
for
Love you
you,
guys.
Miss Nicole. But you guys have been
You know
fantastic.
what? Miss Nicole is good. for
Miss
the time
Nicole's
We
good
love
for
Miss
now.
Nicole.
Good for now.
All right, guys, check it out. Subscribe down below. Check out our friends over here, the Garden Hen. We're gonna have a great. We got a lot of great stuff coming up, and
If you're in the
keep watching.
area, if you're Houston area, come see us. We're in the Heights.
Love it, man.